There is a mystery. Elusive. Unpredictable. Violent. It terrifies most scientists. But for a new breed, the challenge is saving lives. The research is deadly. The laboratory is nature itself.
And potentially could be a storm that has winds in excess. Let's assume the worst at this point.
Joe! Bill! It's coming! Everybody underground now! Joe, come on! Get underground! Take cover right now!
Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So it's been a minute since I've done a movie review, and I can't get hair situated now either. There we go. Kind of better. But anyway, welcome back. And today, I'm doing a bit of a double movie review. So, Twister and Twisters. So first, Twister. I'm pretty sure I watched it when I was a kid at some point, but it terrified me. So either maybe I only saw parts of it, or I left the room before, saw parts of it, like maybe left the room, or as I just repeated myself, or I saw it fully and I just forgot most of it. But about 2 days ago, I saw the entirety of Twister, and boy is that movie good. The plot is very simple. Some tornado chasers are chasing tornadoes, and the main girl is doing this in order to find more information about tornadoes because she has a tragic past with such thing, which happens in the first scene, but I'm still going to avoid mentioning details because first scene. It has a lot going for it. It has some story elements about marriage and the marriage falling apart, and they have this secondary, like this girlfriend who they're gonna get married, who tags along on this journey, and he starts to get this reinvigorated love for chasing and for his previous wife, in a way. And that plot goes, they have that entire plot. Are they gonna get back together? Or is it just like a last time fling kind of a deal, and he's gonna get married to the current girl of his dreams, which is supposedly the person he's marrying. And it also has, what's so good about Twister is it shows everything. Like, you see it pulling apart buildings. You see the tornado going through its destructive path. And, like, that is what these movies need to be. You need to see the Twisters going through that. That's why the first movie, by the way, terrifies me. Just due to the destructive nature of the Twisters. And that is very, very, very real in some places in the world, and overall that is it's very, it pulls the heartstrings. They do a very good job of kind of laying the groundwork, and they have it all play out in a very proper manner, if that makes sense. And I mean that in like the nicest way that I can. They have all the plot points and the plot beats in the movie, and they all come together and they all work effectively. And for this movie being 1996, seeing everything play out too, like, oh, and there's this amazing scene at the drive-in. It's so well written and well acted and well directed. They do a very, very good job of laying everything out in front of you. And that is why it's so real. They have a scene at the drive-in where all destruction just happens, and you get to experience it. In that section of the movie, you get to experience the nature of why these storm chasers are doing what they're doing. You get to experience, which, speaking of right now, I'm just watching supposedly the trailer for Twisters, and it basically showed that entire scene. Oh, and then it's showing literally another scene of why I like it so much. It's showing all the destructive nature and tendencies of tornadoes in a real manner. You're seeing it throw stuff. You're seeing it pull apart buildings. You're seeing the destructive force at work. And that's what it needs to be. Like, you need to see this stuff get picked up, you know? And I have my thoughts on the new Twisters film. And that's okay. That's okay. And I'll get to there in a second. But, you know, it's very impressive to see what they've done with this movie. Especially in 1996. Again, there's actually an extreme amount of practical effects in this movie you would not believe. Everything that gets thrown seems very real in the sense that the stuff that's getting thrown is in fact actually being thrown, and it's not CGI'd in. You can very much tell. That's one thing about Twister, is that you can very much tell what's CGI, because, you know, even some of the Twisters and some of the scenes, you can tell the CGI is a bit dated. And that's all, you know, if you can overlook that, then it makes the movie all that much more better, especially better as an experience. Oh no, an ad for a movie that I do not want to watch. Sorry. I probably will watch it though. Anyway, sorry. Pardon me, got distracted. But overall, that's what this movie is. You know, what is the Don't Breathe, Don't Look Back? That's the title card for Twister. Interesting. But like, for me, that's what this movie is. It is the extreme violent tendency of what tornadoes are. The innate ability for them to appear out of nowhere, and at the time at least, and I hope nowadays things have gotten a bit better, it's hard to know when you're not in that field, and you can't, like, you don't know all the information. I can look it up, I'm sure, but it, like, the tornadoes came out of nowhere. There was no way to warn people. And that's what this movie was trying to tell in its story, is that these people, what they're doing is they're trying to give more time. Their end goal is to give people more time to be able to get safe, to protect themselves, to save those that they love, and not have extremely devastating consequences, which is extremely relatable in my personal opinion. So I would give this movie 5 out of 5. Personally, I absolutely love it. But now, let me go ahead and let me go to Twisters. So this, innate in its entirety, the title would suggest it is a sequel to Twister. No comments on that. I don't want to get into a spoiler type of territory, so I will not be commentating on that. But a retired tornado chaser and meteorologist is pursued to return to Oklahoma to work with a new team and new technologies. So, the first thing I will say about this movie is it has good moments. Which I'm shocked that it has a higher IMDb rating than the original. But it has its moments. If you've never seen Twister, this is a very good starting point. And I think here's the thing. So I will mention this. This movie, Twisters, the first hour, or the first half of the movie, which is roughly about an hour, is almost all in its entirety, most, if not all, of the plot points of the first film. There's some stuff missing from it, but a lot of the major plot points are hit in the first hour of the film. Or the first half of the film, sorry, not first hour, first half. Maybe even a little bit into the later half of the film. And that is the one thing I don't like, is you have such a cool, unique idea here. And they do turn it and they do use it. They do use that kind of like they take some things about the first film and they twist them a bit, which is good. That stuff I liked. I love the last couple of scenes in this movie. They were phenomenal because they showed the devastating, destructive nature of tornadoes, which is what these movies have to be. This destructive nature of this is what sells these movies. It's what I would go in the seats to see, and in turn, in its entirety, it shows what this movie is about. And to put it simply, the main lady in this film has a devastating Twister case as well, which causes her to give up on her dreams. And she ends up being forced, kind of forced / kind of not forced back into it, which is very similar to the first film in terms. They switched characters though, so. And in the first film, speaking of going back a bit, there is an entire team of bad storm chasers. And it didn't fool me at all in this movie, but they take that and they twist it. Which is again what I'm saying, that they still have a lot of the plot points of the first film. They just take some of them and they slightly change them. Some of them are same for same, they just change the they change the location. Like, there is a scene that mimics the importance of the drive-in scene in the first film in this film. I won't say what it is, but if you've seen the first film, you'll definitely be able to notice that. And I think the idea behind it was for them to get that kind of fan base behind the film and be like, oh, it's like that scene. That scene's really great. I love that scene. But it comes off as lack or inability to come up with unique and cool, creative means behind this film. This is so unique and so cool that they could do so much more with it, which is why the ending is so great, But like, if you were to take both these movies and play them side by side, and they're about the same runtime, so it's not like they're vastly different runtime either, which is another similarity between the two. Apparently, this one's an hour 57. Although I believe it's like 202. I think it's actually 202. I think IMDb is wrong. And the first one's an hour 53, which I think it is 2 hours actually, so I don't necessarily think that this is entirely correct. I think it's actually 2 hours. I could be wrong though. But again, they're very similar in runtime. Pretty much similar in runtime. But I don't love the borrowing. You know, this is the sequel to a really liked film. I don't want it to be the same. You know, it could have been okay if it was the same, if it was a sequel, more in terms than what it ended up being. And I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler what I just said, but I'm gonna leave it in. It feels more along the lines of Ghostbusters Answer the Call, and those movies where they take the original and the marketing makes it seem more like it's going to be kind of a sequel in terms, which I guess is really the only thing with this movie, which is why it's okay. The only thing with this movie that really makes it feel like a sequel per se is the title. The title really drives along the fact that Twisters would make it feel more like a sequel. I think the first film had more unique encounters with Twisters than this one did. Because a lot of the shots of this stuff in this movie are aftermath things. They're not showing the destructive path of the tornadoes as they're going along until the end of the film. Then you really get to see the destructive path of those tornadoes. But I think CGI has gotten so expensive nowadays that in order for them to save on budget a lot, especially with certain cast members being added, like Glenn Powell, who is probably pretty expensive, I would assume, and Anthony Ramos, who's also decently expensive, and Daisy Edgar-Jones, who played, what did she play in? Where the Crawdads Sing. Oh, that's it. Where the Crawdads Sing. That's not really that big. She's probably, her being the main one makes sense because she's probably a lot cheaper in turns. But Where the Crawdads Sing was a decent movie, like a decently big movie, not like extremely big, but not small by any means. It's definitely where I know her from. And obviously, I have a feeling that she'll be known for Twisters soon as well. Most likely. And by the way, acting, great on the acting side of things. No problems there. But I just feel like this movie could have had a lot more going for it. I feel like in the end, it could have been a lot more creative, especially with the filming. You know, one of the things in this film is they like, you know, so instead of storm chasers, there's one team of tornado chasers, and one of the other ones is like tornado wranglers, and they actually go into the tornadoes. Just a little bit of information there for you. They like showing the inside of the tornadoes more in this movie than like showing the outside of them. And the movie does start off with, you do see an overview of a disastrous Twister event, which is something the original film did a lot. And I think that's why the original film worked so well, is because it showed all that destructive nature. All that destruction and that terror that left behind. Which is why the end of the movie works so well. Yeah, I'm not going to go into any further detail into that, but I definitely feel like that's the case, and I hope that if they make another one, they go more along that route than they did with this one. But Glenn Powell did a very good job, Daisy Edgar-Jones did a very good job, Anthony Ramos did a very good job, all of the people did a very good job. Not at all upset. Who is this one? The person who played Lily. She looks so familiar. I don't know what she was in. Oh, Loki. Oh, and Hellboy. Oh. Those are the two that I would know her from. Okay. Kind of crazy how these small actors and actresses kind of just like Anthony Ramos is getting bigger and bigger, and Glenn Powell's getting bigger and bigger. But it's crazy that some of these small ones, they disappear for so long. They pop up in the biggest movie at the time, you know? Which is insane if you ask me. Insane, insane, insane. I see the full cast. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to look for the mother, but I couldn't find the mother. So, but in the end, I'd give this film probably about a 3.5 out of 5. Like, it had enough in there that I still enjoyed it. I wouldn't say this wasn't worth a watch. But if you're a fan of the original and you really like the original, tamper your expectations a tiny bit. There is stuff in this movie that's great, and there's stuff homaging the original, but like, when you really think about it, isn't that what all movies do nowadays? If they're sequels or remakes or reboots or, you know, whatever one of those are, there's always a lot of references, but a lot of time those references don't play out, and they're just cool little like, oh, see, look at this, we know where we came from. And like, to me, that's what this film feels like, is that it's like trying to write off the success of the first one. And that's what they're really hoping. And for some people, I think this will work very well. And for others, like me, I think you'll be a little bit on the fence. I don't think you'll hate it. I think you'll like it enough, but it will be it will literally be Twister and then Twisters. It won't be Twisters, then Twister. In that sense, and how much you like it to how much you don't like it. So, but anyways, I think that's going to wrap up this double movie review. I tried to keep everything kind of compacted without spoiling too much. I know some of my other movie reviews get pretty long. But if you want to see a trailer, well, hopefully, if it doesn't get taken down, if I have any problems when I upload this and the video gets taken down, you won't see a trailer afterward. But I should have put a trailer before for Twister, and there should be a trailer for Twisters afterwards. So stick around for that if you like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Dodge whatever's in there. It's big and it's moving fast. Drive. Go, go,
go! Look out!
Guys, you gotta get out of here. Do you hear me? It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself the Tornado Wrangler. If you feel it, chase it! I said if you feel it, chase it! All right, here we go. Oh, she's perfect!
She's gorgeous!
You thought you could destroy a tornado.
We never had a chance.
You want one? You don't face your fears. You ride them.
We got twins! Twins!
Is that it? Nope.